Hello, everybody. Josh Brown here, back for another great episode on Franchise Euphoria. Well, today's episode is brought to you by IndieFranchiseLaw.com, a leading resource in the franchise space to help you if you're considering buying a franchise, turning your business into a franchise, or growing your business through a licensing or franchise structure. So go on, check it out, IndieFranchiseLaw.com. I think you'll find a lot of valuable and free information as you continue to kind of weigh franchising and licensing and the growth of your business. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy today's episode. Today on Franchise Euphoria, I have on Lou DeFrancisco, who's the president of StretchLab, a boutique wellness franchise that offers one-on-one assisted stretching and group stretch sessions. He's been in the fitness industry for more than 15 years in various sales, marketing, operations, and senior leadership roles. Prior to StretchLab, he was president of a boutique fitness franchise that he helped grow to over 100 locations nationwide. I love this interview for multiple reasons, but one of the main reasons is, think about this. This is now a successful, growing franchise, which is all about stretching, which is just one aspect of the fitness component. So Lou and his team have taken this one very niche area, just stretching, and turned it into a very viable business. Enjoy this interview with Lou. Hi, Lou. How you doing? Welcome to Franchise Euphoria.
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you on to learn about your franchise, StretchLab. So what is the StretchLab franchise?
Yeah, it's a new concept. It's a new niche in this boutique fitness market. And we provide one-on-one assisted stretching services to our clients. So pretty unique in this boutique fitness world in that, obviously, when you think about boutique fitness, you think about workouts, you think about high intensity interval training. You're going in to get your butt kicked somewhere, get a great workout, get your sweat on. Where StretchLab fits into this is we're very complementary to all boutique fitness. So we're providing that one-on-one assisted stretching service that, for the most part, provides some type of active recovery for the people that are coming into StretchLab. We have our instructors, we call them flexologists. So we teach them on how to give a proper assisted stretch. It's a 60 to 70 hour training program. We can go into that later. But when you come in to StretchLab, you are on what we call a stretch bench. So it's an elevated table. We call it a stretch bench. And you're there with a flexologist, and you're either getting a 25-minute stretch or a 50-minute stretch, 50. And we found it's a great complement to this boutique fitness movement that continues to grow in the world right now.
So you're the president of StretchLab. So did you help find this concept or found this concept? Are you a founder or were you brought on after the fact?
No, I was brought on after the fact. So the founders started StretchLab in LA in 2015. The very first location was in Venice Beach. Then they opened up a second location in 2016, the year after, in Santa Monica, the next town over. And then their third location they opened was Beverly Hills. So it was a great founder story. Personal trainer and his client were working out, and the trainer would always stretch the client out afterwards. And one time the client just didn't feel like working out, wasn't up for it, and asked to just get a stretch for the whole hour-long time frame that he had scheduled with his trainer, because he just always felt so good after getting a 5 to 10 minute stretch after a workout. So, one thing led to another, and, pretty soon after that, they started a business that was just this one-on-one stretching services. The parent company of StretchLab is called Xponential Fitness. And Xponential Fitness owns several boutique fitness brands, and they purchased the rights to StretchLab in November of 2017.
Well, and so you're no stranger to franchising. I mean, you're in your past, you worked with, I think, another boutique fitness franchise concept that you grew or helped grow over 100 locations. Is that right?
Yes, correct. And that's primarily why I was recruited to come work at and be the president of StretchLab. I had this experience of almost 9 years at a boutique fitness concept called Get in Shape for Women. It was based out of Massachusetts. It was small group personal training for women only. And at our peak, we had over 100 locations open across the country. So a really cool, great concept. I learned a ton about franchising. Before that, I was in the boutique fitness world, but it was boutique fitness before boutique fitness was really around. It was a health club that I managed and ran for 5 years, and it was all one-on-one services. And the unique part of it was we offered personal training services, but we also had physical therapy, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage all under one roof. And so it was a $2.5 million revenue business that was just a single location. And that's where I learned a ton about health and wellness in general, because we had all these different modalities under one roof and we really looked at it from a holistic approach. Then I did that for 5 years. And then for 9 years, I did this boutique fitness franchising concept. And that was great because I learned a ton about the franchising world, which is a whole other industry outside of health and fitness. And I was really able to really find my passion of combining those two. I really have a passion for health and fitness and wellness in general, as well as having a passion for small business and helping people find and live out their American dream of owning and operating their own business. So it's been a blast, and it's been a fun ride for the last year and a half launching StretchLab.
Well, it's so interesting because does StretchLab have its own retail locations, or does it in part work in other fitness locations and serve as sort of like a third party opportunity or vendor within those locations? I could see it as both, but it sounds like it's its own independent location based franchise.
Correct, it is. Yeah, we've talked about that a lot. We've had a lot of interest from other parties and other businesses that want to bring StretchLab into their business inside. So, we call it a box within a box. And we don't want that for StretchLab, at least right now. We keep StretchLab completely separate. It's its own separate retail entity. We're looking at about 1,200 square feet of space, anywhere between 1,200 and 1,500 square feet. And what we're also seeing now, which is nice, is that landlords and real estate developers are starting to knock on our door. Our meaning Xponential Fitness, because we have 7 other boutique fitness brands, and they're saying, "Hey, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 square feet of space in a new build or new development. We'd love to put 2, 3, 4 of your concepts in." And one of them almost always is a StretchLab because of the complementary nature.
So you guys like strategically, like, looking, obviously if it's not your own brand that you can go next to, I mean, would you go next to like a Planet Fitness or an LA Fitness or something like that, where sort of there's a workout facility there, or does that factor into the locations of where you're looking to expand to?
Unless we would go really anywhere next to any kind of fitness. It doesn't have to be an exponential fitness concept, and we'll see some complementary nature and complementary use. And unless there's a business that offers something that's competitive where they may have an exclusive, we really can go in anywhere, because we're not only a complement to boutique fitness, which is typically 25 to 55-year-old people, but we're also complementary to, one of the locations we have is near a karate martial arts studio. And so we have youth that come into StretchLab and get stretched. And so we have this, youth athletes, gymnasts, soccer players, baseball players, basketball players, swimmers, you name it, any kind of youth athletics. We also have this big youth demographic that come in to get stretched. And then we've got also on the other end of the spectrum, we have active seniors that love to come in and get stretched. So it's interesting in that we're complementary to all this boutique fitness that's happening in our society right now, which is great. But then we're also attracting other demographics that are outside of the typical boutique fitness, the youth and the active seniors, and even some people that are not necessarily into working out or boutique fitness, but they understand the benefits of stretching and the relief from stress, or if they travel a lot, or if they just work in an environment where they sit a lot, they realize that there's some detrimental health benefits to sitting or traveling a ton, and StretchLab can be that help and assistance for them.
Well, I think it's a great concept. I mean, I just think about myself, and I'm sure you hear this a lot where it's like, you try to go stretch yourself. Sometimes it's like, what do I do? Like, I'm not sure what
Right.
to do, what
Right.
not to do. And I think it's one of those things too that builds on itself. So if you stretch regularly and frequently and make it part of your workout process, you're going to become more flexible over time. That probably ties in well to, I think you referenced flexologists, or is it stretchologists?
First one, flexologist.
Okay. Tell me about that. Tell me about the flexologist for the StretchLab franchise.
Yeah, so this was a name that the founders came up with, and they trademarked, which is pretty cool. So you'll only find flexologists inside of a StretchLab studio. And we did a couple things when we bought the concept of StretchLab and started franchising it, because the founders did a great job of creating a market for stretching and basically showing us that there is a market out there that people are willing to pay for one-on-one assisted stretching. So one of the steps we did right after we purchased StretchLab is we went out and found the best of the best, the stretch guru. His name is Brad Walker. And literally, if you Google stretch guru, he'll show up. He lives in Australia. He's been in the industry for 25 years. He's taught and written books and has had clients in all realms for the last 25 years. So it was really important that, because we're such a brand new category and a brand new brand, one of the things that we wanted to make sure that set us apart from any kind of competition was our expertise. And so we had this name, flexologist. Now we needed to put a legitimate training program behind that name. And so that's what we did. Brad Walker still works with us today, and he'll continue to work with us. He oversees the training program. We call it the Flexologist Training Program. It'll be an official certification later this summer. A bunch of hoops you have to jump through for that. But the first thing we did was modify the stretching routines and protocols that were happening inside the founders' studios, so that when franchisees bought into the brand, we had some systems around stretching and stretching protocols. And then we created the training program that taught those stretching protocols. And to give you an example, the stretching that was happening, while it was beneficial, was kind of all over the map in terms of length of time and the types of stretching and the varieties of stretches. What we focused on was a certain type of stretching called PNF, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. So if anyone wants to, really dive in,
Yeah,
just
say
Google
that 5 times in a row, Lou.
exactly.
Just say that 5 times in a row.
I'm not going to right now. just Google P as in Paul, N as in Nancy, F as in Frank, and you can or even YouTube it, and you'll see that the types of stretching that we do. We created a 25-minute stretch routine and a 50-minute stretch routine. The 50 being that's the stretch that you want, that is the most beneficial for our clients. And it's the PNF stretching. There's a ton of research behind the why it's beneficial. And you were exactly right earlier with what you said. Just like strength training, when you consistently perform a strength training program 2 or 3 times a week, you build strength, you build muscle, and you get stronger, and that benefits you. But when you stop following your strength training program, you lose that strength. Same thing with stretching. It's when you consistently stretch and when you engage in an active stretching protocol, like a PNF stretching protocol, and you come into our studios once or twice a week, you're going to see an increase in flexibility and an increase in range of motion. And what that ultimately turns to is either A, an increase in performance, or B, a reduced risk of injury, or both, obviously. And that can be beneficial for all different ages, all different types of populations. So we've put a lot of time and energy into it. And this flexologist training program has become a 60 to 70 hour training program that every flexologist has to go through and complete and pass before they can put their hands on real live clients in a StretchLab studio. And there is no stretching certification out there on the market. That's the other reason why it was important for us. As we we are the leaders in this new stretching niche. We it's not enough for us just to be the leaders because we sold a lot of territories and we're opening up a lot of studios. It's the quality of the stretch and the experience that we can provide to our client base.
Well, it's fascinating too because me being in the franchise world, I love niche businesses, right? I mean, you have to love niche businesses when you're in the franchise realm.
Mm-hmm.
And so often people will say, "Well, is there anything where you could be too niche?" And it's hard to say. I mean, certainly there are, but you don't know until you do it. But this sort of idea that a whole franchise concept, and I mean, how many franchisees do you guys have at this moment?
We have 70 franchisees that make up about 180 territories that we've sold
so
so
70
far.
franchisees, 180 territories. It started in 2015 in just the concept of stretching well. I think that would I think that's going to blow people's minds, right? I mean, people think of
Yes,
stretching is just like a part of fitness. It's just like one aspect of fitness. No, it's a whole nother business in and of itself. And it makes perfect sense because I'm sure you combine, as you mentioned, obviously, the flexology components to it and the benefits of that, because I think that it sounds like it helps you and helps enable you to not only, you know, be safe in your workout. So, as you get older and your muscles get tighter, you're not pulling muscles or getting injured. But also helps make it
exactly.
more enjoyable and more beneficial for your body overall. I think it's a genius concept, really. I mean, it's fascinating to me. I would have never thought, wow, you can make a whole business around this. Well, so tell
Right.
me, that ties into, who are these franchisees? I mean, who's the ideal type of franchisee that a Stretch Lab is looking for to come in and open one?
So I have this little pitch or speech I do at the beginning of every discovery day, and it really answers this question because inevitably, every franchisee or most prospects like, well, who's going to make the best franchisee? And this goes back to not just Stretch Lab. This is any, whether it be boutique fitness or any franchise concept. I say we look for three things in order to award you a franchise and feel like you are going to be a good fit, not only for franchising but also for us at Stretch Lab. Number one is you have to have a passion for this. And again, insert whatever brand you're looking at or considering for franchising. Do you have a passion for it? Because you are not just, you don't want to be just buying yourself a job. You are investing in a brand, and you are going to be a business owner. Being a business owner is no light task or small feat. This is a big deal. And you have to be that brand ambassador in your community as well as within your team, whoever you end up hiring on your team as employees. So can you have a passion for this, or do you have a passion for this already? Because there are going to be there's going to be some good times, but there's also going to be some tough times, and that's the reality of owning a business. And through that, as long as you have this passion, you will be able to still wake up in the morning with excitement and face the day with whatever challenges you have. Number two, do you look at franchising in general as a overall positive? Meaning, franchising is all about systems. And when we talk about systems, does that make you excited? Like you'll have some kind of background or experience through your work, and we want you to be able to add that experience onto the systems we have in place already, whether it be from searching for real estate, helping you negotiate a lease, going through construction, retail construction, recruiting and hiring your team, training your team, specifically the X's and O's of running a Stretch Lab, the marketing, the sales, and the operations. We've got all these systems in place for you. Does that excite you? Like, oh, wow, this is awesome. This is kind of there's a recipe there for me. It's kind of done for me already. Or are you that more of that classic entrepreneur that's like, oh, well, I'd really like to do my own thing. I'd love to, figure this out on my own. If you're the second type of mindset where you're that classic entrepreneur, like to figure things out on their own, maybe franchising isn't the right fit for you. Because again, it doesn't matter if it's Stretch Lab or some other concept. Good franchise systems have systems in place for everything. And it should be this plug and play where you're just stepping in, getting trained, and learning from best practices and following. So if that excites you, great. That excites us too. So do you have a passion for this? Are you excited about the franchise systems we have in place? And number three, and this is one of the most important, can you be the leader of your own organization? Do you have the qualities and the skill set to be a leader? Because me and my team, we can't go run your business for you. We can't go run your stretch labs for you. We're there for you for support and for training and coaching. We teach you as a franchise owner. We teach your GMs. We teach your flexologists. But every day, day in, day out, we're going to teach you best practice on how to set goals and break them down into quarterly, monthly, and weekly, and how do you have your daily check-ins and weekly meetings with your team. That's all part of the training, but you're the one that actually has to do it. So again, go back to that question of, do you see yourself as, can you be passionate about this, follow the systems, and can you be this leader within your own organization? Does that excite you when you think about that? And if you can answer yes to those three questions, then we should have a pretty good fit, and we'll figure out the
Well, and so
details in
do you
between.
put them, because those are all really, really great things to find out. I mean, those go to the heart of where somebody's minds, not only their mindset, but their natural tendencies lend themselves to. So do you guys have a protocol that you put people through? I mean, I imagine you do, when they reach out and you find out that, that, and then you put them through
Yes.
some sort of protocol that is gonna, despite what they tell you, you can sort of identify on how they answer questions and provide you information as to whether they would make a good franchisee.
Yeah, we put them through an educational process. So, some of the terminology we use is important, and I've learned this over the 10 plus years I've been in franchising. Is it's not a sales process. We don't use that term. It's an educational process. We use it is a two-way street. While the prospect is evaluating us and our brand and the corporate team, we're also evaluating them and their qualities and their skill sets and their backgrounds. And then it's a series of 3 to 4 minimum educational calls with a franchise development company we use. And then that leads to a discovery day. And discovery day is really important because that's where the prospects come in and meet the team. We get to meet them. It's a whole 2-day experience that's meant to wow them, but also allow them to ask all the questions that they want to get completely comfortable. And then after discovery day, we give them a deadline, and we say, hey, in the next 2 weeks, first of all, we're going to go back and talk about everyone and then give you the decision on whether we're going to award you a franchise or not, based on our interactions with you over the last 2 days. And then if it's a yes, we're going to put a timeline on this and expect you to sign on in the next 2 weeks. And that's also a part of the decision-making process or the evaluation process, because if someone has gone through a minimum of 30 to 45 days prior to discovery day, plus another 2 weeks, so most of the time they're in this pipeline, in this stage of discovery and education for at least 45 to 60 days, the timing of them being able to take all this data, evaluate the data, and then make a decision is also important in our decision whether we're going to award them a franchise or not. And so that's the typical process. And usually we see about between a 70 and 80% closing ratio, meaning from discovery day. So people that come out, on average, about 75% of the prospects are signing on within 2 weeks of
Well, and so
coming out.
how did the brand get its initial momentum? Because, I've worked in franchising for over 10 years now. I've been practicing for about a little over 13. So for a good chunk of my practice, and I've seen tons of different brands, and it's not the normal case that a franchise comes out of the gate and 2-3 years later it has this much expansion. I mean, normally it's a slower process. So
Right.
what do you think led to that initial momentum? I mean, were the founders just more experienced and better when they got started? Was it just the right time, right place kind of a scenario, combination of both? Or
It was. I don't want this to sound really bad, but it had nothing to do with the founders because they weren't involved at all in the franchising
That was
piece.
when you came on. Okay, got it.
Yes. So they had, so they, it was their positive was that they got, they proved to the market that stretching was a viable service that people were willing to pay for. So it was really a year and a half when Xponential bought it. And Xponential Fitness, their expertise is franchising and growing brands fast. So one of our sister brands is Club Pilates, and Club Pilates had a really fast ramp up where they were in 5 years. They've been operating under Xponential ownership for 5 years. They've sold over 900 territories and have almost 600 locations open across the country right now. And so this wasn't me by any means coming in here saying, "Oh, this is look at how good I am and look how many territories I can sell." This was me really implementing best practice from what Club Pilates did. Part of it was having the right team in place to teammates and vendors to partner with to build a brand. So when we first purchased StretchLab, there was rebranding, there was a new logo, there was a new color scheme. And then we went out into the broker networks. That was also an important part of launching fast is you'll get some people that find you naturally, organically through your website. But there's also this whole world of franchise brokers out there that are looking to actively place executives, former executives, people that are looking for second career, et cetera, into the franchise world. And so it was a combination of our own PR efforts and marketing efforts, as well as working and partnering with franchise broker networks to launch the brand of StretchLab. It also helps that we have Xponential Fitness as our parent company. They have the resources to invest in StretchLab.
Well, that's huge, right? I mean, that's got to be huge.
It's enormous. It's not your classic founder-led franchise where you're bootstrapping everything and you're super excited when you sell, your first couple franchisees. On our first discovery day, we had like 12 parties and we had, we came out with, 7 or 8 franchisees. So it was like right from the gate, there was a big ramp up. So you have your early adopters. Naturally, you get your early adopters because we don't have a lot of data when we first launched StretchLab. Now we're starting to get data from our studios that are open and operational, which is exciting too, because the numbers are fantastic. We've got studios now going through a learning curve. You always do early on with pre-sale marketing and sales strategies. Whereas where we're at a place now where studios, as they open, they're profitable in month 1 or month 2. They're profitable with 200 members, and they're doing about 40K in revenue in month 1 and month 2. And those are the owners that we have that are validating for us, and that's why we have this next surge of interest in StretchLab, which is exciting. We'll surpass the 250 territories sold mark by the end of this year. And that's super exciting. And it's the next challenge is just getting a lot of these studios open. We have 32 open right now across the country. But the exciting part is that we have another 25 to 30 that will open this quarter, Q3. So by the end of September. And then by end of this year, we'll have between 90 and 100 locations open across the country. So not only are we selling a lot, but we also have been able to invest heavily in the corporate team on the real estate and development side so that we can give appropriate resources to franchisees so that they're finding locations, signing leases quickly, and getting studios open. And then obviously we've got these studios as they open are hitting profitability quickly. And so that helps because now these franchisees want to open up number 2 and number 3 as fast as they can.
Well, no, that's important. And the reason I wanted to hit on that point is that, there's a lot of people who want to grow really, really fast, but they don't have the operational support, the operational foundation, the systems. They don't have all that and the resources to do it. So I just wanted to obviously ferret that out. I mean, there's obviously all of that adds up to a great scenario for the StretchLab franchise. So I appreciate you
Yes.
explaining all that. Well, if anybody wants to find out more information, they can go to stretchlab.com. And Lou, it's been a pleasure having you on. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and share about the concept and how it's sort of evolved over the years.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me on. I'm super excited about this. I've been in the industry, like you said earlier, for over 15 years, and this is a brand that's going to take off. This niche is going to take off. So I'm super excited to be able to lead this opportunity. I feel blessed, and we've got a great team in place, and I'm looking forward to growing this across the country.
Well, if you hit that mark, what did you say the goal was, to 250 or 300 by the end of this year?
By the end of this year, yes.
Reach back out. You can come back on and tell us about that.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Thanks so much for sharing some time. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Franchise Euphoria. If you enjoyed this episode or have enjoyed the podcast in general, I would really appreciate it if you could go to iTunes and leave me a rating and review. It really helps to get this podcast out to more and more people. So the easy way to do it is go to iTunes and in the search box, put in Franchise Euphoria. You will then see my cover art, and you click on my smiling face that says Franchise Euphoria, and then click on the link that says ratings and reviews. It's that simple, but boy, oh boy, does it mean the world to me when people leave ratings and reviews. And like I said, it really helps get the show out there. Once again, would love it if you would go to iTunes and leave a rating and review if you enjoyed this episode or other episodes of the show. And until the next time, happy franchising.